From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
I'm Megan Thompson here in Uptown Butte at the corner of Park and Montana Street. And coming right up, we'll take a look at a project that's improving Butte's crosswalks.
Misinformation and disinformation. Do you know the difference? I'm Cassidy Powers, and I spoke with a political science professor at Montana State about the recent news being spread on the attempted assassination of Trump.
Good morning, Southwest Montana, 6:33 on this Tuesday morning. And can we just take a moment to look at the sunrise in Butte?
It's beautiful.
It's looking gorgeous.
Well, and that's the great thing, Edgar, about working the morning show during the summer. It might be hard to go to bed because the sun's up for so long.
Can confirm.
But you do get some of that nice sunrise early in the morning. It's beautiful. Really beautiful.
I will say I went to bed early last night because I knew I had to work early this morning.
Yeah.
I woke up at 7 p.m. thinking it was 7 a.m.
Did you
and
panic?
I got really scared that I missed the show.
Yeah, that was why you called me at 7. I was like,
here
Edgar.
we are.
Okay, there we
It's
go.
still 6 a.m.
Yeah, you know, you got to do what you got to do when you're working that morning shift. Now, speaking about the morning, it's a little warm out there, a little too warm for my liking personally, but let's take a look at the Futurecast before we break it down number by number. Well, not too much to talk about. It's not your TV that's broken. There's just not a lot going on in our area. About 8:30, that's where we may be getting a little bit of cloud action in our area, but not too much to make a big difference moisture-wise. Breaking it down hour by hour, Bozeman's going to start at about 64 degrees, and we're going to be working our way up towards the high 80s today. Little bit of some cloud cover again later on in the evening. Butte, on the other hand, 55 degrees, working our way up towards the mid 80s. However, a little bit of some haze and smoke concern in the afternoon in the mining city. We have a whole smoke forecast, air quality monitoring thing. We're going to get on that in just a few minutes.
Alrighty, thank you, Jane. New this morning, Bozeman police said that they arrested a man who is accused of robbing multiple businesses along Main Street and 7th Avenue. The suspect was identified as Xavier Sandstorm, and police arrested him after more threats were reported by Sandstorm near 19th and Main. Several businesses also reported vandalism on storefronts after red paint was left around the stores. Bozeman police did say they charged him with multiple felony counts. And a 21-year-old man is also charged with attempted deliberate homicide after an incident at the Gallatin Valley Mall on Friday night. The Keenan Carrier was charged in Gallatin County Justice Court on Monday morning. Court records say that he was trying to race cars with the victim. The victim was then hit after exiting his vehicle shortly before 9 p.m. on Friday night. In addition, Keenan is also charged with assault with a weapon and criminal endangerment. His bond right now is set at $500,000, and he is scheduled to appear in court again on August 2nd. And a complex incident management team is now in control of the Horse Gulch fire near Helena. Fire officials say that they're switching to this type of larger team because it allows them to have greater resources and more experienced firefighters to tackle the blaze. It allows them to also bring in management and coordination to get food, gas, and lodging for those who are fighting the fire. They tell MTN that their top priority is to keep homes and people safe. If conditions allow, Jason Forther, the division supervisor, says that teams will ignite areas to the north and east of the fire in order to burn potential fuels.
Up until this point, we've really focused our efforts on protecting the communities. And so we've been successful there. We have a lot of really solid fire line in now and secured the fire closest to the communities. And now we're working our way around the outer perimeter of the fire, trying to knock it all down, prevent spread in the future.
And people who live near Canyon Ferry Reservoir who were forced to evacuate from their homes are now being allowed to return, but the area does remain closed to the public. Right now, proof of residency is required to enter. And two eastern Montana fires have merged into the largest wildfire burning in the state right now. The Deadman Fire Complex is now at more than 22,000 acres. Our MTN's Marcus Gakova has the latest on the fire as we see flames up close for the first time.
I'm here in Bernie, where just feet behind me, firefighters are conducting a burnout to prevent this fire from growing any further.
So far, the fires are going really well. We started with 6 fires. These were all started by lightning.
Now, between those fires, around 22,000 total acres have burned, gnawing away at both public and private land since Friday. The largest, the Anderson and Deadman fires, emerged on Sunday.
One of the big concerns for folks around here is their forage, because a lot of them make their living by ranching.
All the smoke was kind of going around us, not really affecting us as much.
This was the scene when Valentine Noonkester was evacuated from a family vacation at Tongue River Campground.
It's just very sad to see it, everything burning down, and look at what it's done to most of our national forests. I mean, they're finally growing back, but it's just sad to see trees falling over and just dead.
Several homeowners have also been encouraged to leave, opting to stay. So far, no homes have burned. A new fire team and resources arrived on Monday to help battle the Deadman Fire Complex. Stephanie Spencer with the Northern Rockies Team 3 says though things are going well now, potential for change depends on the weather.
There is a lot of unburned fuel inside of here, so they will continue to smoke for a while. Fires out here are wind-driven, so just depending on how the weather is from now until they're burned out.
Marcus Kakova, MTN News.
This morning, the search continues for a 20-year-old Montana State student who was swept away while crossing Rushing Mountain Stream in Carbon County. While rescue crews aren't giving up hope yet, MTN's Charlie Klopps reports that they're growing increasingly concerned that this might become a recovery effort.
Just outside of Roscoe, the East Rosebud Road behind me leads into some of the most beautiful hikes in all of southeastern Montana. But over the weekend, this beautiful scenery became home to a tragedy as a hiker went missing on the trails and is still yet to be found.
Currently, the river is moving very fast. It's very rough.
One look from above at East Rosebud Creek flowing from Rimrock Lake, and the dangers are easy to see.
The area where he fell in is right above some significant rapids and cliffs that drop off.
And that's been the view for rescue teams as they search for a 20-year-old Montana State student who fell into the water trying to cross the river on Friday while hiking with a friend.
He was quickly washed down the river and out of sight of his friend, and we've been unable to locate him.
Red Lodge Fire Chief Tom Kuntz says that the search began immediately Friday, but so far there hasn't been any good news.
The impact to him would have been significant. Unfortunately, we believe he probably did not survive the fall and the trip down the river.
The friends were hiking the popular Beaten Path Trail, but ever since the flooding a couple years ago, much of the scenery and terrain has changed.
There was a bridge that had been there that was washed out in the floods a few years ago.
That bridge was located exactly where the hiker was attempting to cross before slipping and falling in, according to Kuntz.
If he's underwater, we may not be able to find him until the water levels recede.
A scary reminder to all hikers during a prime season to hit the trail.
These calls are always very tough because you realize, so much of our community spends time up that canyon and in the wilderness around our area, and you realize how easy it is for something this to happen.
For now, the search continues with no end in sight. In Carbon County, Charlie Klopps, MTN News.
Uptown Butte is getting some pizzazz with the first of 9 crosswalk improvements. Our Megan Thompson found a volunteer who is heading the effort and a pedestrian who says that they love walking in the mining city.
Well, with its historic buildings and sweeping mountaintop views, Uptown Butte is a great place to walk around. And now, thanks to the Uptown Butte Master Plan Association, these crosswalks that are being improved are going to help you find your way around town.
I go everywhere in Butte.
And what do you think about walking in Butte?
I love it, and I think it's safer if we had better walkways and stuff for all the handicapped people and all that stuff.
If all goes according to plan, pedestrians like Pam Clunan will enjoy a safer, more walkable space in Uptown Butte.
I think all of these improvements and these crosswalks are really just the beginning. It's to make it, cleaner, safer, more livable, more vibrant, just a wonderful place for people to come and shop and stay and play and do all the things.
The project is funded in part by federal and local grants. Shanna says more improvements to the Uptown district are in the works.
I really think that's great, and I hope they keep it up because we need this stuff in Butte because of our wheelchair people and everybody else that needs to walk.
In Butte, Megan Thompson, MTN News.
Do you know the difference between misinformation and disinformation? Our Cassidy Powers recently spoke with a Montana State political science professor about some of the news in social media postings after the recent assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump.
The attempted assassination on Trump rattled the nation, but do you remember where you first heard about it? I'm here on the Montana State University campus asking people where they first got the news.
Take a look at what happened.
Originally, I heard about it from a friend.
My husband told me. And do you know where they get their news?
I think he saw it first on Instagram.
As I walked around campus, people gave me a variety of answers on where they first heard about the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump, but most of which were social media.
It was social media for sure. It was either Instagram or TikTok.
Which is a common answer for most people ages 18 to 29, according to Eric Austin, who's been a Montana State political science professor for nearly 20 years. So is getting your news from social media all that bad?
They're difficult places to get comprehensive, reliable, balanced news from. The way that most social media platforms work is that the algorithms that sort of populate your feed take information based on your viewing preferences and what you've looked at before and sort of reinforce that.
Facebook is the #1 platform, followed by Instagram, then TikTok. All platforms that populate your feed based on this kind of algorithm. So why can this be a problem?
People gather information from sources they believe are reliable, but it's incomplete, it's inaccurate, it's just wrong in some instances, and they're forwarding that on, they're sharing it through their feeds.
Which is known as misinformation, the distribution of information on the belief that it's accurate, which shouldn't be confused with.
Disinformation is inaccurate information that is intentionally distributed to cause confusion.
Which Austin tells me there's a lot of circling around the internet regarding the assassination attempt. What do you think their goal is?
I think there are multiple motivations. The idea of trolls on the internet is kind of well known. There are, I think, those who are just sort of chaos agents.
So how can you tell if the information you're reading about the assassination is accurate?
Any opportunity that you have to use news aggregators to really curate that, to have not only diverse sources of information, but good, reputable sources of information, the more you're going to have that complete picture.
But one thing Austin says people should be aware of, time.
Even at this point, a couple of days in, the reporting that we've got is really new. And so there's a demand to, or a pressure to, get information out as fast as possible. So I think one of the big things is giving sufficient time to have good, verified, corroborated, accurate reporting.
For more information on ways to find accurate news sources, visit our website. In Bozeman, Cassidy Powers, MTN News.
All right, time for us to take a quick break. Jay McDonald has your full forecast, and unfortunately, it's already time to start thinking about back-to-school shopping.
I'm John Matarese. Back-to-school sales are starting earlier than ever this year. Are prices still going up, or are parents finally getting a break? That story coming up.